what's happening is that all these consumer apps, all these business apps are going to be tied to so much more in terms of, you got some tokens, lend them, borrow them. Nobody's going to call it staking. They're going to call it, lock and earn. They're going to gamify it. And really, we're going to live in a world in which, the masses are going to be participating in, this level of finance on a daily basis and, right there inside their favorite apps.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Profit to the People, the official podcast of Republic, where we believe you have the power to invest in the future you believe in. I'm your host, Lisa Carmen Wang, and I'll be taking you behind the scenes to meet the team, founders, and investors in our community who share their insights on the future of investing and how they're bringing profit back to the people. To learn how you can get started investing, head over to republic.co and follow us on all socials at Join Republic and at Lisa Carmen Wang. Today, I'm speaking with Adi Sideman, the co-founder and CEO of Props Project. Props is a community loyalty token, and Adi is a pioneer in participatory media and digital currency with more than 20 years of experience in building consumer networks at scale. Prior to Props, Adi ran YouNow, the live streaming service that grew to over 120 million user sessions per month. As a developer, Adi produced the first ever animated ads on AOL and created more than 30 online games, including the Matrix game for the famed Warner Brothers movie. He founded the interactive media tech firm Oddcast, which continues to develop interactive media apps such as Elf Yourself. In 2005, Adi co-founded Ksolo, the first online karaoke service, which was acquired by Fox Interactive and MySpace. And in 2006, Adi co-founded the audio ad network TargetSpot, a joint venture with CBS acquired by Radionomy. He is a graduate of the NYU Film School and the Interactive Telecommunications program at NYU. Adi, it is such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Profit to the People.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. I'm excited to chat.
To start, let's talk about community. It's such a buzzword that everyone is talking about today. Community, how to find it, how to build it, how to grow it. So tell me about how Props is really rethinking communities and how it's helping community leaders and content creators expand their communities.
So I've spent many years building communities and large consumer products at scale. And, community is so rewarding. I mean, your ability to bring people together and allow them not just to socialize and have fun and create content, which is all really, really important, but also to participate in the wealth that's being created. And there are times where, the community is in its purest if there is absolutely no consideration of any kind of financial gain. And that's terrific. But there are other times, especially in two-sided markets where, one side is a teacher and another is a student or a content creator and a fan or a buyer and a seller. Where, the financial gain is part of what the environment is about. At Props, what we've set out to do is to allow communities, to allow business operators of these communities to share in the wealth created, to share in the value created with the community members, and more than just a dollar being paid here and there, and more than just a commission or a revenue share or a cut of the activity, but actually in a potential upside. And so, for me, that particular journey started when in 2014, I was running YouNow, which is a live streaming service. And we introduced for the first time the ability for creators to earn. And at the time, it was very novel because creators could earn on YouTube through revenue share. But they were nowhere in the West. It was happening a little bit in China, were they earning from gifts and tipping and microtransactions, et cetera? And so we were actually working closely with Apple to enable users to not only buy into a virtual currency like they do in like Zynga games or, online games, but also for other users to be able to earn on the other side of it. So you have a two-sided, virtual economy of, payers and earners. And that showed us, very intently the power of enabling professionals who are devoting their time and attention to participating in a community and creating content and driving the community to, earn value. And from there on, we started getting the community members themselves saying, you know what, I'm bringing so much value that I'm hoping to get not just, dollars, not to be just a coin operator in the end of the month. Hey, Adi, I'm bringing 50,000 new registered users each month. You're going to be a tech millionaire. And what will I have to show for it in a few years? Can I get paid in stock options? And we were like, no, there's no way for community members to, get equity in startups. And, that was the reality for, some years until, blockchain arrived. And, when Ethereum was strong enough to build on in 2017, we created Props, which is a scarce digital asset, which unlocks benefits for users inside apps, but also has the side effect of being a scarce asset that can fluctuate in price based on the demand for it and have elements of capital to it. And so we found a solution to allow community members who participate and add value to earn not just dollars, but also a potential financial upside. So if you think about it, the office manager or the secretary in any startup, he or she gets paid in dollars to pay the rent, but also in stock options so that they have a potential upside. They're participating. They're part of that business. And so solutions like Props enable any business to engage their users with strong loyalty program, which is like a traditional loyalty program, but that has this additional kick of having a potential financial upside. And so that's the long answer to a not long question.
So it seems like you were really early in this ownership creator economy. And I think what's really interesting is that you started with a non-crypto token and then, really dove in when blockchain and everything started really popping off. And so you've really, even just looking through your career, you've managed to make those pivots to stay with the times and ensure that the community is also able to participate.
Yeah, I think that I used to call it, programming the moving image. And then I always knew that at one day we would be programming the moving dollar. And it was, initially this simple, non-crypto currency that you can buy through Apple and Google. And, we sold over $100 million of that currency and became experts managing a two-sided digital economy at scale. And when, crypto and blockchain was ready to build on, it was a natural organic transition.
Mm. And then the other thing that I want to remark on is just this idea of social capital and financial capital really starting to come together because to your point, so often with these communities, as they grow in social value, right, the social networking and the people are bringing more social capital, but they never had that opportunity to receive financial capital as a result of their contributions. Could you take us back to why that was the problem that you chose to solve?
Interesting. So we were getting insights from community members, and we were seeing their behaviors, which, there were competing communities, competing apps, competing businesses. And effectively, they would come around and poach users, offer an extra dollar, offer an extra $1,000. And, the loyalty was somewhat fleeting. That was one observation. The second observation was that the users themselves were very aware of the value they were bringing to the community and were open about it. And we're saying, we want to be partners here. And, your engineers are bringing value, your investors are bringing value, but we, the users who comprise the network, who toil our days on it, we also bring value and we also want to be partners. And, today it's kind of like, considered to be like the DNA of blockchain. Of course, the users own the network and, everybody who brings value should be mathematically rewarded. But we were just experiencing it firsthand on the front lines. And, that was part of what was opening our eyes towards, such a solution.
Yeah. I mean, when we think about just the growth of communities, it oftentimes you start with a leader, and then a truly successful community is one where the users themselves almost start taking over, right? And being more valuable than the one voice that initially started it.
It's so true. And I remember Andy Weissman from Union Square Ventures, our longtime board member, was always, directing us and excited about enabling the community to govern the network. And this is way before blockchain. This was just like, you create the environment, they're going to invent the behaviors, and you just need to follow them. And there was so much wisdom in that, because that's when you see real scale. That's when you see different types of content and activities that, you could have never imagined yourself. And all of a sudden, by, facilitating the community's ability to effectively, engage with each other and manage the situation on their own, you have done a lot more than try to, sort of dictate or fashion anything specific.
I love how you use the verb facilitate, because it's really showing that you've built a tool. So often when we think of tech, I mean, I was watching The Social Dilemma, and they were talking about how, tech is, these days, it's no longer a tool, it's actually taking over. And so a tool is something that is truly facilitating, betterment in industries, right? In helping us become better people, better members of a community. So just props to you guys. Props to props. Could you share specific success stories? How are partner apps really using props in a way to engage their community specifically?
So what we're seeing is, first and foremost, that props today is most impactful in the context of marketplaces. And the reason for that is, in a marketplace, the users constitute both sides of the market. And without the users, there's, no business. There, again, the buyers and the sellers. And I'll give you a couple of examples of, case studies that we recently published. One is with Listia, is an Andreessen Horowitz company. And they're a marketplace for used goods. So think about it as an eBay where, people buy and sell their actual garage sale online. And it's a really exciting community and very, very active users. So Listia implemented props as a reward for their buyers and sellers. And today it's normal. If you go to buy NFTs on Rarible, you can earn the Rari token. And that's the way for, Rarible to differentiate itself from its competitor and to give back to the community and to give them a piece of the, financial stake in the network. And so that's exactly what Listia did with props, whereby, sellers are not just, getting their dollars at the end of each transaction, and buyers are not just getting the product at the end of each transaction. every time they do a transaction, it has value for the business. It has value for the network. And so incentivizing them to, list more items and get a little bit of token, sell more items, get a little bit of token, buy more items, get a little bit of token. Then the question is also, what can you do with that token? Why is that token important? And the answer is it unlocks benefits. And so, in the case of Listia, it unlocks, better transaction fees, a higher margin for the seller, a lower cost for the buyer, free shipping, whatever it is that in a community of buyers and sellers and in a marketplace like that has a lot of value, which causes the users to want to keep the token, because the more they have, the better benefits and discounts and deals they get. And so, that's a sort of a classic use of a utility token, a loyalty token. And we're really proud to see the results. And the results are anywhere between, 10 and 40% increase in, engagement and revenue on some of these participating sites.
So those are your main metrics in terms of success for these partner apps, is increased user engagement and in-app purchases and revenue just across the board.
Exactly. And it's no surprise in a sense that when you are better aligned with your users, when you are, if you're a product manager and you have the ability to say, okay, every time you take that action, I'm going to give you a little reward right there and then. Well, surprise, surprise, more people are going to take that action.
Exactly. And you also have a pretty exciting announcement as of this year, because Props is now listed on some pretty big public exchanges, Gate.io and KuCoin, where people can now buy and sell their props. Tell us about just that thought process of going in. What was that like, and how is it going?
Sure. So first, it's important to mention that, crypto is a global phenomena. And so there are a lot of users, the majority of the users are, all over the world. And so those exchanges that are serving, non-US users internationally listed the token. It's exciting to see that, there is large volume every day of, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars of the token being bought and sold in the market out there, both on Gate.io, KuCoin, OKEX, and others. And it's a testament to the fact that the token is in demand, that it's, the system is working, and it is part and parcel of the vision, which is to allow people who earn it to actually, liquidate it if they so want to. Another testament of the system is working is that they don't always liquidate it. They keep it for the benefits that it gives them within the app.
So they're holding it, and then they're bullish on the rise of props.
They're hodling it for the utility that it provides.
Exactly. That's great. And so with these partner apps, I know that you're launching more and more of those. You've also recently announced your first NFT partner. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So we're really excited about the NFT space in general. And if you think about it, community tokens are a way for a business to share value with its most valuable users. And, these communities are not going to fully be centralized tomorrow morning. They have investors, they have cap tables, they have engineering stacks. They are not going anywhere. They are staying centralized. But what they can do is they can use a service and a framework like Props that is decentralized to create this asset class on top of their business that they can share with their users. And it's a way to share value with users. NFTs are the same way. It's a way for a business that is already generating content, media, videos, photos, where the users are already engaged in media to share value with their users by tokenizing that media, by enabling a marketplace for that media. All of a sudden, the business is introducing new ways for the community members to benefit from participating and from these digital assets. And so Superworld is our first partner in that space. Superworld is two things. It's both a virtual world where people can, buy and sell plots of virtual land, not dissimilar from Decentraland, but using the real world as its anchor. And, they have a tremendous amount of activity there, where people are, taking over the land and developing the land, etc. And then they're also launching a marketplace for NFTs. And, they chose props as their loyalty token in order to reward the participants on this community. So check out Superworld app, super cool, and we expect to be live there in a few weeks.
Awesome. For anyone who's interested in props, let's say they have their own community, who's a good fit and who's not a good fit?
So if you think about, if you have a login to your site, that's a first step. That means that, you know who your people are and they're coming back, and you can communicate with them. So I would say that, just Time Magazine is probably not a good fit. Somebody coming through, reading an article, leaving, and so that's the first thing. The second thing is a two-sided marketplace tends to be, derive the most value from a community token. And so for those people listening who are running businesses, first of all, I encourage all of you to, go to propsproject.com and get in touch with us. And we'd love to set up a quick consultation session. And for those of you who are running marketplaces where it's a platform and the users are on both sides of, providing the service and consuming the service, I would say that is the strongest fit.
Great. And early on, I know you've iterated multiple times throughout. Why did you choose to crowdfund and raise money on the Republic platform?
So we owe a debt of gratitude to Republic. And in 2017, that was 4 years ago, we met Ken, the CEO of Republic, and he's an inspiring individual. And he said, Adi, only accredited investors are able to invest in props right now. What do you think about allowing, your own community and regular people who are not millionaires to participate? And I said,
good imitation.
Thank you. You would know. So that's how we were, turned on to Republic, and it was a tremendous experience for us. We loved the platform, and I think at the time there was a limit of $1,070,000 crowdfund from non-accredited investors under Regulation CF. And I think we were sold out after a couple of hours, which was, also an exciting moment.
Awesome. And to date, now you've raised 21 million. So a lot more since those early days back in 2017. You've expanded globally. You are hiring all over the world, part of this global blockchain community and beyond. So very excited for you and the team.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And we are also very excited, and we're very happy to be able to, share our story with the larger Republic community. So many great businesses are coming out of Republic. I know that, they're all thinking about how can they leverage, blockchain and crypto in their businesses. And we built props to be able to be the solution for these mainstream digital businesses. And, we're happy to open a conversation for people to reach out to us, whether they want to talk about, community tokens for their communities, NFTs for their communities. We're just delighted to be part of this community.
Amazing. Any lessons you'd like to share, hard-learned lessons throughout this process?
The most important lesson is don't do anything you don't understand, and do everything that you're passionate about. There's only one life to live. You're going to be much better doing what you're passionate about. If you're in a job that you are not sure about, then, take a break, figure out what you need to do, drive an Uber if it, gives you the time, and, focus on the stuff that you really love and want to do. And that's advice that I got many times when I started out. That's the advice that I always give. And, your own personal North Star and desires are the absolute best thing to be aligned with, and is the biggest guarantee for your own personal success.
I love that. And I resonate with that so much myself as an entrepreneur, as someone who's very passion oriented and, always persevering in the face of no's, even in the face of no's, which I think that's what makes successful entrepreneurs, right? You get up and you follow that passion, and regardless of what anybody says, you're like, no, I see it. Like, you'll see it soon enough.
Yeah. And for those watching, you see, even Lisa gets no's. So we can suffer through a lot more no's knowing that.
And finally, profit to the people. What does that mean to you?
So, Republic has been such a visionary in this space, and it's really been amazing to, have a side view of what you guys have been able to achieve. And this is definitely where, the world is going. And they used to say that software is eating the world. And I'm starting to say that, finance is eating the world. And, it's not sexy but when you think about it, what's happening is that all these consumer apps, all these business apps are going to be tied to so much more in terms of, you got some tokens, lend them, borrow them, nobody's going to call it staking. They're going to call it, lock and earn. They're going to gamify it. And really, we're going to live in a world in which, the masses are going to be participating in, this level of finance on a daily basis, and, right there inside their favorite apps. And so, that's part of what technology is unlocking. And then, important services like Republic, like Props, who have, built products to really simplify, enable, and facilitate, this financial participation. I think we're going to see, a lot more of that. And, I just saw this company in Europe, and they're enabling a button on every website so that people can invest in that website right there. And then, you know what? It makes sense. If you thought about it 5 years ago, people would think you're crazy. And now it's becoming evident that, money, finance, investment, participating with a stake in the network. I mean, that's all being enabled, these days with new technologies, and the sky's the limit in terms of the functionality we're going to see out there. And so everybody is going to be participating. And what did you call it? Profit to the people?
Profit to the people.
Yep. That's going to be the side effect.
Amazing. I am a true believer that there's room for everyone at the top, and that the way that we win is by helping everyone else win. So thank you for doing that at Props. And we are so happy to have you as part of the Republic family.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And I look forward to continuing the conversation.
This podcast is provided for educational purposes only by Republic and Republic.co. Nothing discussed should be construed as legal, tax, accounting, or investment advice. The views of the presenters may not be the views of Republic and its affiliates. Always consult with trusted professional advisors before making investments. Private investments are inherently illiquid and may result in a total loss. All rights reserved.